The government is coming for your reptiles. Again. But this time, it's through banning reptile lighting. Before everyone panics, it may be too late. Let's talk about where this is coming from and what it actually means. I'm John, this is Zuko, and you're watching Tipping Scales. A screenshot has been making its rounds in the reptile community the last couple of days that appears to be from ZooMed's VP of Sales, Rita Zarate. It is a letter that's been sent to certain distributors of ZooMed products. The letter states, on May 10th, 2024, ZooMed received notice from the U.S. Department of Energy that the following ZooMed products have been determined to be general service lamps, GSLs, which do not meet the minimum efficacy standard of 45 lumens per watt. And then it goes on to list some of the different products that are affected by this, which are mostly basking heat lamps and a few compact screw-in UVBs. The letter itself appears to be legitimate. They go on to say they are complying with the DOE directive, but are working with them to seek a path forward that would allow future distribution of the subject models to promote the health of all animals impacted by this determination. So, the fear of this actually happening has been going on for years. I remember it being a big talking point last year when suddenly all of the incandescent lights and halogen lights were removed from Lowe's and Walmart and all of the big box stores. Everyone was worried that reptile lighting would be included or would be next. But the reassurance we all got and gave each other was that this didn't include special purpose bulbs. This was just for general service lighting. So what the heck does that even mean? And what changed, if anything? So this began all the way back in March of 2016, when the U.S. Department of Energy first proposed rulemaking to tackle the question of whether or not to amend the energy conservation standard for general service lighting. In 2017, definitions for what is general service lighting, what are the exemptions to this, and what the new standards should be were drawn up. These standards, such as the 45 lumen per watt rule max, were decided would go into effect at least 3 years after the rule was published. In 2020 and 2021, amendments were made to the rule to further clarify what types of lamps were included in this list and which were not. Some of the lamps that an exemption was made for were appliance lamps, bug lamps, infrared lamps, and plant light lamps, along with several others. What was not specified as exempt were specialty lamps for animal welfare. So in August of 2023, just last year, the general public became a little bit more aware of what was actually happening here when the ban went into actual effect, making it illegal to manufacture and sell incandescent and halogen bulbs. That fell within the GSL definition within the US, with a few exceptions, as specifically listed in the rule itself. There were two reactions to this. One had people panicking about what they were going to do for their reptiles, and the other was to reassure everybody that reptile lights don't fall under GSL. And so that's why there was no specific exemption for the ruling. Some people even went as far as to say, it's just like grow lights. The argument was that grow lights are labeled for a specific purpose, and so they don't fall under general service lighting. But if you read the document, grow lights are specifically listed as exempt, where reptile lights are not. So why would grow lights need to be on the list of exemptions if they're labeled as a specialty, right? And why did we think reptile lighting wouldn't need to be, if that was? So part of this is our own darn fault. My point is, if we were really paying close attention, we had a lot of time to do something about this, like 7 years. Hindsight's 2020, we can't change the past, so now that it's here, what can we do about it? Well, the first thing is not to panic. Don't go out and buy up all the bulbs in your area. All that's going to do is leave a bunch of other keepers stranded while you hoard bulbs like a troll. Just like any other time there's been some national crisis or scary thing, I wouldn't be surprised if my mom still had toilet paper from Y2K. So don't do that. It's important to note that the only way that this gets fixed is through new legislation or through litigation. ZooMed is currently getting legal counsel on this issue, and USARK is aware, though as of right now they haven't issued a public statement. They have said there is an ongoing effort to resolve this issue. It's also important to note that this isn't brand specific, so it will also affect some Arcadia bulbs that fall within this category. The issue here is actually not very complicated. It's simply a matter of definition and labeling. Keep in mind, this rule has gone through multiple iterations in the last several years, and that being amended yet again to include animal welfare lighting is not a stretch. It's also important to note that most reptile bulbs are not affected by this. Mercury vapor, most UVB tube lights, and daylight UVA bulbs are not affected. This is predominantly for basking bulbs and compact UVB bulbs, which compact UVB bulbs are not the greatest thing anyway. So the biggest issue here is really the basking bulbs. So what can you do? You can contact your congressmen and senators and make them aware of this issue. Highlight the importance of the bulbs being banned and how they affect animal welfare and the growing community of keepers, as well as zoos. Support USARK. This kind of thing is what they're here for. All the links to do that are in my description. They always are, every single video. You can go check out how to support USARK, become a member there. All right, so now I'm going to briefly address some speculation and some anecdotal things and some rumors that are flying around right now in the wake of all of this. Some people are saying things like PetSmarts everywhere are putting all of their reptile lighting on clearance, and they don't plan to restock. As far as I've been able to determine, this is not true across the board. It might be true for specific stores, but nothing points to that being related to this recent news, and it certainly isn't true of all stores. As you can see in this video taken at PetSmart today, these are fully stocked shelves and everything is full price. Huge shout out and thank you to Jessica over at Carolina Reptile Center for getting this footage for me while I was stuck at work. And to that end, go support Carolina Reptile Center also. There'll be a link in the description for that. Another rumor I've heard is that PetSmart is pulling out of its contract with Arcadia. I've tried multiple different avenues to get to the bottom of this, and every time I've dug deeper, it seems to be a rumor based around clearanced items or specific stores that aren't carrying Arcadia at the moment. I haven't found any concrete evidence that this is more than a rumor, and some PetSmart employees have outright denied that this is a thing. Even if there was some basis in truth, there is no evidence that it has any relation to what's going on with the ZooMed stuff. So be careful what you're believing, be careful what you're sharing and spreading around out there. Always cross-reference your facts and sources. So in conclusion, yes, this is an important issue, but we need to support each other for a little bit while it gets resolved. In the meantime, don't be a hoarder. That doesn't mean don't stock up. That simply means don't ruin it for everybody else in your neighborhood. Do make your voice heard. Continue to support USARK and these companies that are pushing back against this ruling, and let the legal process do what it needs to. It's possible it might be hard to find bulbs in some of the big box stores. There are still online distributors that you can get these bulbs from for now, but I do see this being something that is completely resolvable. It likely won't be overnight. It's going to take a little bit of patience, but continue to support each other. Make your voice heard with your representatives. If you have any more added info, insights, or questions, leave them down in the comments. I will try to update things as more information comes out, but for right now, that's all the information that we have. So I'm going to wrap it up right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like. If it's informative, share it around, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.